Proudly broadcasting from the Richard Philip Cavallaro studio.
WRHU.
Hempstead.
You've discovered
A cornerstone of the Lawrence Herbert School of Communication.
WRHU.
Now, Long Island's largest radio news team brings you the Associated Press award-winning program, Newsline.
Coming up on Newsline Wednesday, March 27th, 2024.
Trump believes the gag order was an appeal to the judge's daughter.
Netanyahu rejected a resolution calling for a ceasefire.
Disney and the state of Florida have come to a settlement.
And an update on the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse.
Coming up, what to expect on the upcoming solar eclipse, and we're talking about sleep. I'm Fatma Moen with your science report later in the broadcast.
In entertainment, what good-looking couple just had a baby? Whose superstar charges were dropped? I'm Taylor Montgomery, and I'll have all that and more later in the broadcast.
The Islanders travel to the Sunshine State. Hofstra baseball contests a Long Island foe, and Hofstra softball falls short to Mizzou. I'm Juliana Monti, and I'll have all that and more in sports coming up.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Alexa D'Amato.
And I'm Cameron Bowden. We begin tonight's broadcast with an update on the Trump gag order. Former President Donald Trump is again attacking the daughter of a New York judge who put him under another gag order. Hours ago, on his social media platform, Trump wrote, "Maybe the judge is such a hater because his daughter makes money by working to get Trump." He also called Tuesday's gag order illegal, un-American, and unconstitutional.
This is a case that could have been brought 3.5 years ago. And now they're fighting over days because they want to try and do it during the election. This is election interference. That's all it is. Election interference.
The gag order prevents Trump from making or having others make public statements about jurors and witnesses, including about adult film star Stormy Daniels. However, it does not prevent him from making comments about Judge Juan M. Merchan or his family. Merchan issued the gag order because of Trump's history of, quote, threatening, inflammatory, and denigrating comments.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rejected a resolution calling for a ceasefire with Hamas. The United Nations was hoping for a ceasefire before Ramadan.
We're working around the clock to make them real, on the ground, through diplomacy, because we know that it is only through diplomacy that we can push this agenda forward.
That was Ambassador Linda Thomas Greenfield. She believes the resolution will favor Hamas. Previously, both sides have rejected a ceasefire as they believe victory is achievable. Netanyahu has said that Israel can only dismantle Hamas if it attacks Rafah, which houses over half of Gaza's population. The U.S. has said that attacking the city would be a mistake on Israel's part. Hamas will not be releasing hostages unless there is a stronger plan for a ceasefire. President Joe Biden and his administration have voiced concerns over civilian casualties, though they continue to send military aid to Israel.
Flying down to Florida, Walt Disney World and members of a board appointed by Governor Ron DeSantis have reached an agreement today over a court battle surrounding how Walt Disney World will be developed in the future. After Governor DeSantis took over the theme park's unique district in Orlando, the DeSantis appointees experienced pushback by Disney, resulting in 2 years of litigation that was resolved today. In an interview, DeSantis praised the settlement, expressing the core aspects of it.
I think the board will work with them. They are going to do a development agreement of some sort to kind of provide some contours for the district's land and how that's going to be processed, if it is processed over the ensuing months and years.
The original takeover stemmed from Disney's opposition to Florida's Don't Say Gay law, which large parts of the law were overturned in an earlier court decision this month. The unique district provided Disney World with municipal services like firefighting, planning, and mosquito control, which was controlled by Disney supporters for a larger part of 5 decades. The president of Walt Disney Resort said in a statement that the company was happy with the outcome of the settlement.
More updates are coming in from Baltimore after a cargo ship crashed into a support beam of the Francis Scott Key Bridge and led to its collapse, leaving 6 people unaccounted for. Last night, WRHU reported that the 6 construction workers missing in the collapse had been declared dead by their employer. However, the search and rescue mission has resumed this morning. New audio reveals the Mayday call that the police received, which left first responders around 60 seconds to stop the traffic on the 1.6-mile-long bridge prior to its collapse.
I need one of you guys on the south side, one of you guys on the north side, hold all traffic on the key bridge. There's a ship approaching that just lost their steering. So until you get that under control, we got to stop all traffic. Just make sure no one's on the bridge right now.
C-13 dispatch, the whole bridge just fell down. Start whoever, everybody. The whole bridge just collapsed.
The timeline of events following the collapse are expected to be released today from the National Transportation Safety Board. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg has yet to release a timeline on the reconstruction of this bridge, but has outlined 4 areas where efforts are focused for the investigation and cleanup of the bridge remains.
After last week's deadly terror attack out of Moscow, the death toll for the number killed at the event rose to 143 today, while 80 people injured in the shooting are still hospitalized. The massacre at Crocus City Hall on the northwestern region of Moscow was the deadliest extremist attack in Russia in over 2 decades, where 4 gunmen shot at thousands of concertgoers and set the venue on fire. Affiliates of the terror group ISIS claim responsibility for the attack, and U.S. and French intelligence groups confirmed that an Islamic State entity was responsible for the massacre. Russia's Federal Security Service, otherwise known as the FSB, said that 11 people had been arrested in connection to the shooting, including the 4 gunmen suspected of committing the mass murder. The 4 gunmen showed in court on Sunday and appeared to be very beaten and bruised. One was barely conscious during the hearing. The 4 men were brought up on terrorism charges.
Coming up after your Newsline specialty report with Fatima Moen, a suspect was detained in the NYPD officer shooting, a candlelight vigil is in place to honor the officer's death, and Bruce Blakeman is looking for deputy sheriffs. But first, your Newsline traffic and weather update with Melinda Rolls. WRHU News Time is 5:36.
Newsline. Up to the minute local traffic.
It is currently 47 degrees and cloudy, a few degrees down from today's high temperature of 50 degrees. Expect tonight to dip to a low of 45 degrees with passing rain throughout the night, followed by some steadier showers. Looking ahead, tonight's rain will carry into tomorrow, bringing about an inch of rainfall and a high of 50 degrees. By Friday, expect the sun to finally start to reemerge with partly cloudy skies and temperatures in the low 50s. For those behind the wheel, let's talk some traffic. To anticipate some severe delays of 25 minutes increasing on Grand Central Parkway eastbound between exit 23 and exit 29. Also expect a few minute holdup increasing on I-495 eastbound between Glen Cove Road and exit 43. I'm Melinda Rolls, and stay tuned for my second traffic update later in the broadcast.
Let's talk science. Mark your calendars for April 8th. For the first time in 7 years, a total solar eclipse will be gliding across North America. The sky will go dark first in Mexico, following its path through Texas and making its way northeast, ending up in Canada. You may be curious, what exactly is a solar eclipse? The natural event occurs when the moon places itself between the Earth and the sun, shielding the sun's light from our view. According to NASA, the spectacle may last anywhere between 70 to 80 minutes long and will begin with a partial eclipse, only building over time. Long Island will be seeing 88% coverage happening between 3:15 and 3:30 p.m., and you wouldn't want to miss it. Just a heads up for sky watchers, it's not a good idea to look directly at the sun during an eclipse. Make sure to wear protective eyewear before enjoying the rare phenomenon. If there's anything I love at the end of my 9 to 5 is looking forward to a good night's sleep. The first sleep model framed by Sigmund Freud, scientists still have yet to discover why our minds enter the rapid eye movement or REM phase. Freud theorized our dreams are simply tapes in our mind that run to keep us sleeping. The protective brain function keeps the mind at ease by preserving us into the stages of the sleep cycle. The New York Times reported that birds also sleep and in fact dream. 2 groups of living birds, the flightless, like the ostrich, and the kiwi, have shown in neurological testing REM-like activity in the brainstem, along with egg-laying mammals like the chicken, also reveal REM activity in the brain, in the forebrain. And yes, there is an evolutionary link between us and birds. So if I dream about my future husband and future job, I wonder what must a New York City pigeon have in mind? With your science report, I'm Fatima Moen, WRHU.
WRHU News Time is 5:39. Thank you, Melinda and Fatima, for those reports. A suspect is in custody in connection to the fatal shooting of NYPD officer Jonathan Diller during a traffic stop on Monday in Queens. Police say 34-year-old Guy Rivera was sitting in a vehicle that was illegally parked at a bus stop when Diller and his partner approached the vehicle. When the officers ordered the men to leave the car, police say Rivera fired a gun through the passenger window. According to New York City Mayor Eric Adams, Rivera has had more than 20 prior arrests.
A candlelight vigil organized by the town of Oyster Bay is being held tonight in Massapequa Park to honor Diller. Flags stood at half-mast across Oyster Bay yesterday in respect of the 31-year-old officer. Yesterday night, Diller's casket was brought from New York City to Massapequa Park, where thousands of first responders and NYPD officers joined the procession. Tonight's vigil will begin in Brady Park at 7 p.m.
Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman is calling for residents with gun licenses to join the police force as special deputy sheriffs for, quote, the protection of human life and property during an emergency. This non-union position comes with a stipend of $150 per day and would only have police powers if an emergency is declared by the county executive. Those who are aged 21 to 72, a United States citizen, a Nassau County resident, and a pistol license holder must pass various background and drug tests to be accepted for the position. Union leaders and legislators claim to have little knowledge of this initiative, and the Blakeman administration did not seek legislative approval or consult with union officials. While in Suffolk County, special deputies are selected by the sheriff to serve as community ambassadors. These sheriffs are not paid or required to have any sort of gun license because firearms are not a part of their duties.
Officials warned that a young parent has tested positive for measles at Cohen Children's Medical Center in New Hyde Park last week. This warning is in effect for patients in the emergency department of the hospital from Wednesday at 6:45 p.m. through 3:30 p.m. on Thursday. CEO of Allied Physicians Group, Dr. Carrie Fernstein, said that measles are more contagious than the common cold, flu, and even COVID-19. Those at risk for complications are unvaccinated children, pregnant women, and people who are immunocompromised. The CDC guidelines recommend that all children get their first dose of MMR by 12 to 15 years old and the second dose between the ages of 4 and 6. People who get the MMR vaccine are considered protected for life.
Biden's administration just gave the green light to the 7th largest offshore wind project, planned right here on Long Island. The plan is to build a 924-megawatt project named Sunrise Wind, located about 30 miles east of Montauk. Sunrise Wind will be able to power about 600,000 New York homes when it opens in 2026. This plant will be among the many green energy projects being put in to replace fossil fuel-powered natural gas plants over the next 25 years. Interior Secretary Deb Haaland said that this approval is another step closer to fulfilling the nation's clean energy goals.
The New York State legislature is looking to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to keep child care centers open during a shortage of child care workers. According to legislators, many qualified child care workers have been left for better-paying jobs in the retail or restaurant industries. The proposed legislation seeks to subsidize child care workers' pay, which averages $32,000 per year. The legislation also seeks to create tax breaks for parents and guardians.
In Central Islip, charges were dropped against a nurse who was accused of slamming a 2-day-old infant into a bassinet. The incident occurred at Good Samaritan Hospital in Suffolk. The baby's parents reported that they captured the nurse violently handling their newborn. But after further investigation, authorities could not prove that the evidence found the nurse acted violently beyond a reasonable doubt.
In a joint effort to bring justice to a tragic hit-and-run incident, Yonkers police are teaming up with Long Island investigators to find the suspect responsible for the fatal crash. The incident, which occurred on Monday, tragically left a 21-year-old man severely injured. Authorities are working to track down the driver involved in the incident.
In another tragic incident, a 17-year-old was fatally struck and killed by a train headed towards Coney Island late last night. The incident occurred at the 4th Avenue and 9th Street Avenue station, where the teenager was struck by an oncoming G train.
Due to a possible loss of $4.3 million in foundation aid in Long Beach City, program cuts, staff layoff, and the closing of an elementary school may occur. The Long Beach City School District sent a letter to parents and students to take action by calling government officials to give more money. The letter also says how devastating it would be on the community with the loss affecting more than 3,500 students. Around 30% of those students live below the New York State poverty threshold.
The Move Over law, originally enacted in 2010, has been expanded to passenger vehicles as well as those traveling on the thruway, interstates, and four-lane highways. Drivers are being reminded by state police to do everything they can to move over in the case of an accident. If the driver can pull over, then they should slow down and put on hazard lights to alert other drivers that they are pulling over. The consequence of disobeying is a $257 fine and 3 points on a driver's license if the law is violated.
Newsline's Brooklyn Doughton attended a Women in Leadership coffee hour event hosted by Denise Chardavoine this afternoon. Here is Brooklyn with more of this story.
Valley Bank's first senior vice president and program director, Denise Chardavoine, led a conversation about the banking and finance industries of Hofstra this afternoon. Chardavoine, he was a Hofstra alum, gave this coffee hour style talk as part of a Women in Leadership series at Hofstra. She has over 20 years of experience in financial services, and she shared her experience with students. Chardavoine realized the importance of her talk.
As I mentioned before in the meeting, women in the banking industry are a minority. We are making strides. We're becoming more and more popular in more leadership roles and capacities, which is wonderful to see. And I think it's intimate settings like this that give knowledge and empowerment to other aspiring future leaders that are making that change and affecting that change.
Senior finance major Rebecca Blum said that she found Chardavoine's talk inspiring.
Her passion for what she does and relating that there's so much possibility when you just do what you love and work hard for it and reach for opportunities.
Associate Vice President of Development and Alumni Affairs Meredith Celentano also appreciated Chardavoine's talk and listed some of the key takeaways.
She really focused on a couple of key points for our students, which was great. Talked about hard work, taking a chance, listening, finding a mentor, and focusing on overall, I heard hard work as probably the biggest message.
Finance major Naomi Hidalgo spoke of the impact that Chardavoine's talk had on her.
Where she's at, like in the banking field, it inspired me because it's a male-dominated role, the same as finance, which is my major, and listening to her experiences just inspired me, to keep going, to never let what other people will say, pull me back or anything. Just work hard for what I want and what I'm interested in doing in the future.
Chardavoine shared some advice for young women looking to enter the banking business.
Take a chance. I think there's great opportunity. We are definitely looking for females to really join the workforce. And hit me up. I'm always looking for talent.
From Newsline, I am Brooklyn Doughton, WRHU.
Thank you, Brooklyn, for that report. Coming up, your Newsline Entertainment Report with Taylor Montgomery. But first, your Newsline Traffic Update with Melinda Rolls. WRHU News Time is 5:48.
Newsline. Up to the minute local traffic.
Expect some slight delays while easing on Southern State Parkway westbound between exit 22 at Meadowbrook Parkway and exit 17 at Hempstead Avenue. On Southern Parkway eastbound, be conscious of delays of up to 15 minutes between exit 15 at Corona Avenue and exit 24 at Merrick Avenue. Also anticipate a holdup of about 8 minutes on Northern Parkway westbound in Lake Success with an average speed of about 20 miles per hour. Finally, be prepared for a 12-minute delay on Cross Island Parkway between exit 33 and exits 30 east and west. With your final Newsline traffic update, I'm Melinda Rolls.
Newsline. Entertainment.
Oh my God is what everyone is saying right now because singer Suki Waterhouse and actor Robert Pattinson quietly welcomed their firstborn child on Monday. The good-looking singer and the Twilight alum were spotted pushing a pink stroller around Los Angeles yesterday. The couple have yet to share the gender of the baby and their name, but if you're a Suki fan, I'm sure you're going to have a Melrose meltdown. The pair, who started dating 6 years ago, definitely won't go without fail in announcing it in style. Suki revealed they were expecting while performing at the Corona Capital Music Festival in November. She flaunted her baby bump, saying, quote, "I decided to wear something particularly sparkly because I thought it might distract you from something else that's going on. But I'm not sure if that's working." Again, a huge congratulations to the couple. Taylor Swift's father, Scott Swift, will not be facing charges in Australia after his alleged assault on a paparazzo last month. The North Shore Police Area Command in Sydney conducted an investigation late February after Papa Swift defended the anti-hero star from paparazzi snapping unwanted photos of her after a show at Neutral Bay Wharf. The photographer Ben McDonald accused the superstar and her posse of being, quote, aggressive and unprofessional, but thank goodness everyone and everything is safe, healthy, and unhurt.
Don't you hate that?
Hey, what?
Uncomfortable silences.
That was the iconic dinner scene between Mia Wallace and Vincent Vega from Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction, which turns 30 this year. But today, Tarantino turns 61, and the internet is going crazy trying to figure out what his best movie is, or if he's the next Steven Spielberg to celebrate. As many of you may know, Tarantino is one of the most renowned filmmakers of all time, but he's coming up on his retirement from feature filmmaking as he has only one more film to go, succeeding Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. His self-imposed 10-film goal comes after the source is of controversy due to his conflicting counts of filmography. But until the release of his farewell film, I'm Taylor Montgomery with your entertainment report.
WRHU News Time is 5:51. Thank you, Melinda and Taylor, for those reports. Texas plans to arrest people suspected of illegally crossing the border are still on hold after a federal appeals court order. According to the law, once migrants were in custody, they could either leave the U.S. or be prosecuted on misdemeanor charges of illegal entry. If they do not choose to leave, they could be arrested on a felony charge. This marks the second time the law was put on hold, though it was interrupted by the Supreme Court allowing the law to take effect. Opponents of the Texas law believe that it was the most dramatic state attempt to monitor immigration since 2012. The state believes it is their right to take action because President Joe Biden's administration is not controlling the border.
Hunter Biden's attorneys are returning to federal court in Los Angeles, California. They're currently seeking the dismissal of 9 tax-related charges brought against special counsel David Weiss. The younger Biden is not expected to attend the hearing. He was accused of not paying taxes on millions of dollars that he earned from business ventures overseas. The 54-year-old could face 17 years in prison for 6 misdemeanor and 3 felony charges.
Attorneys for the 3 men who killed Ahmaud Arbery asked a federal court to throw out their hate crime convictions. According to them, the prosecutors used the men's history of racist comments, which did not prove they targeted Arbery for being black. Federal prosecutors believe that the racist views that they expressed in their text and on social media believe that Arbery was an escaped criminal. 2 of the men, Greg and Travis McMichael, armed themselves and chased Arbery in a pickup truck. Their neighbor, William Bryan, joined in his own truck and recorded Travis McMichael shooting Arbery from a close range.
Federal prosecutors seek to cancel Alec Murdaugh's plea deal and push for over 100 years in prison after accusing him of lying about embezzling over $6 million and involvement of an unnamed accomplice. Already serving life for murder, his theft sentence may increase following a failed FBI polygraph. The case remains under investigation, with details withheld to protect its integrity, and Murdaugh's lawyers have not yet responded.
Georgia's Republican senators have pushed forward a bill aimed at conservative changes in public schools, including banning transgender girls from participating in girls' sports, restricting sex education, and mandating parental notifications for library materials. The bill passed after a 33-21 vote, which was formerly a suicide prevention bill. Supporters claim it protects children and empowers parents, while critics denounce it as a mix of misguided culture war initiatives. It is uncertain if the more moderate House will be open to this measure.
Former President Donald Trump is promoting the sale of the God Bless the USA Bible amid his White House run. Trump encourages supporters to buy the Bible, priced at $59.99, during Christian Holy Week. The Bible is inspired by Lee Greenwood's son, a rally staple for Trump, who has also appeared with Greenwood. This move coincides with Trump's legal challenges, including a pardon from a New York court regarding a $554 million debt, provided he secures $175 million within 10 days.
And breaking news, Joseph I. Lieberman, senator and vice presidential candidate, dies at 82 years old.
Now we take you to Houston, where police are investigating the death of 8-year-old Aaliyah Hako. Hako's body was found inside a large pipe near a Houston hotel, where she was last seen swimming with her family. On Saturday, the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences ruled the minor died in an accidental drowning, but her autopsy report is still pending. Aaliyah's mother, Jose Daniela Hako Ahmuda, is suing the hotel, alleging that her child was sucked into an opening that swept her into the pool's flow system.
Coming up, your Newsline Sports Break with Juliana Monte. WRHU News Time is 5:55.
From the Philip Cavallero Sports Desk, this is your Newsline Sports Update.
With your Newsline update, I'm Juliana Monte. After being shut out 4-0 to the Devils, the New York Islanders look to get back in the win column as they contest the Florida Panthers tomorrow. Kyle Palmieri looks to pick up his 10th point of the month, and Bo Horvat his 14th. Chris King and Greg Picker will have the action across the Islanders radio network with pregame at 6:30 and puck drop at 7. In Hempstead, Hofstra baseball contests Long Island University. In a tight game, the Pride lead the Sharks 12-10 in the bottom of the 8th. Hofstra softball battled number 12 Missouri in a close contest. The Pride trailed by 1 going into the 6th, but a late home run by Becca Valancourt set the game into extra innings. However, the Pride fell short in a 2-1 loss. Hofstra looks to bounce back as they continue conference play on Friday when they contest the UNCW Seahawks. The Pride is 26-5 all-time against the Seahawks and earned a 9-5 victory last season. First pitch is set for 6 p.m. on Flow Sports. Across the border, the New York Knicks are coming for a sweep as they close out their season series against the Toronto Raptors. Despite being riddled with injuries, the Knicks are 7-3 in their last 10 games. Tip-off is set for 7:30. With your Newsline update, I'm Juliana Monte.
That will do it for tonight's edition of Newsline. Many thanks to the entire WRHU News team. Engineering our show this evening is Tiana Howell and Alondra Nolasco Rojas.
And a big thanks to tonight's all-women crew. From our on-air talent, to our engineer, to our writers and editors. Happy Women's History Month.
Thank you for tuning into Newsline, only here on your 4-time Marconi Award-winning radio station, 88.7 FM, Radio Hofstra University.
Access real-time local Long Island, New York, and global news, along with content from WRHU Talent Monday through Thursday, 5:30 to 6.
And tune back in from 7 to 9 Monday through Friday morning for our talk show, where we discuss Long Island life, national news, and international issues from the minds and mouths of Hofstra students on the morning wake-up call.
Lastly, check us out on social media at WRHU News for behind-the-scenes content.
For Newsline, I'm Cameron Bowden.
And I'm Alexa D'Amato.
Thank you for listening.
And have a great night, Long Island.